In this game is definitely going to be the dice roll here, because being able to go first with Traptrix and just set up all of the different trap cards is going to be extremely important to be able to stop Kashtira, which I think it's going to kind of struggle potentially dealing with even just something simple like a regular floodgate trap hole, setting the monster to the field. You know, it's a lot to contend with when you just have your own booked monster here. And this is one of the best openings you could hope for in Traptrix. Just any monster plus Shade Brigadine. This allows you to trigger the effect of Sarah, allowing you to special summon from your deck a Traptrix monster. Now, as well, because of the fact that Mermelio, which it looks like what he might be going for here, actually he's going for the new one.
Yeah. Vesiculo?
Yeah,
so, Vesiculo, right? Yeah.
By being able to trigger the effect of a trap card and a Traptrix monster simultaneously on the same turn, you're able to benefit from both effects of Sarah. So this should be able to get another trap card from the deck as well.
Yeah, here you go for the XYZ summon of Pinguicula, and I think this is one of the main reasons why the deck is so consistent, right? Just with a couple of cards you just put up on the field a lot of pressure to your opponent, and I guess also the deck, as you mentioned before, can allow to play, I mean, a lot of different resources, such as his main decking 3 copies of Nibiru's as well, which might be very helpful in this matchup, also evenly matched. So it's
and spoiler warning, he has drawn into 2 copies of Nibiru, so he does have that option for him. So now he's gonna go for, again, pretty much the Shade Brigadine of the deck, which, as you can see here, is the new Traptrix. Yeah.
This is very good because basically this can be used in the same turn the card was set. So basically it's another extender. And yeah, what a turn here from
as I mentioned, this deck might look like a trap deck, but as you can see here, he ended with no traps face down actually, but with just a lot of XYZ monsters and the option of the Redoer, which is extremely nice because, as you can see, he always makes it with the trap, meaning it's essentially a Phoenix Wing Wing Blast in form of XYZ monster.
Let's see here if Shawn will be happy with this, but he starts things off with an Infinite Impermanence on the Time Thief Redoer, which is already something to start things with. And we have seen already in YCS Lyon how consistent Kashtira deck is, and it's very difficult to play against it, but yeah, I think it makes sense to chain the Time Thief.
Yeah, you're forced to chain it, and now you are pretty much exposed, but a lot of players, pretty much I would say that the Kashtira deck at the moment has 2 options. Either to play as a kind of a Zodiac deck, relying only on a Rise Art and nothing else, or it can go all out. And the reason is pretty much about Nibiru.
Yeah.
And Ben is maining it, and I don't think you expect it, especially in Traptrix. So that might be a factor in this game 1. Let's see.
So the issue with Nibiru, of course, as you mentioned, is an extremely powerful card to counter the Kashtira deck. Personally, I feel like in this current metagame, just because of the sort of, I don't want to say dominance, but you know, the just the existence of Sprite, you know, it's a very popular and common deck. I would be very hesitant to main deck Nibiru. Do you think, in this type of situation, do you think that you would ignore Nibiru in game 1, or are you always going to be hesitant?
I think you might just ignore it, to be fair. At the same time, I gotta say, Traptrix is not the most popular deck. But I was just, you know, roaming around, looking some of the deck profiles that have been released in the past weeks, and some of the most successful Traptrix did main Nibiru. So if Shawn did his homeworks, maybe he knows that Nibiru might be there, especially when your opponent is playing Traptrix and he doesn't set anything and he has 3 cards in his hand. Like, you could expect multiple monsters or at least, you know, Ash Blossom, something like that. So, but in general, I would say you just ignore Nibiru game 1.
So I think it's an extremely powerful deck going first, with to be able to just use these 2-card combos to set up a lot of trap cards. Unfortunately, we didn't draw that many here, but you know, we had the disruption, the effect of the Redoer. We were completely set up for the next turn. We have our protection, but I suppose one of the biggest key main weaknesses of the Traptrix decks is definitely going to be going second. So that's why I think opting to main deck those answers, those really powerful field removing options with the evenly matched and the Nibiru.
Yeah, and the evenly matched is really good in general, of course, but in this deck it's better than in others because, as we saw with the Traptrix new trap card, you need to discard the trap, so you can just discard the evenly and it's not going to be a dead card going first, for example.
Still a decent amount of synergy there, yeah. It works quite well. All right, so Theosis is going for the Scareclaw. typically you want to go for Rise Heart. Any reason you think that we went
Might
for
have it in
Scarecrow?
his hand. He's just trying to play through, but now we should count the summons as well. We are on 3 summons at the moment, and yeah, I don't think Shawn is gonna. No, let's see. Could still play around it. That's why maybe he didn't go for the Rise Heart.
Removing a Exciton Knight from the exit, that is a
Nice.
classic.
What
It's been
a
a while since
throwback.
we said, yeah. Legacy of the Valiant 2014, I believe. It was for an Exciton Knight.
Yeah, what a card it was.
Yeah, once per chain. That was
Yeah, that was insane.
one of the first times we had like a quick effect removal like that. All right, so making quick work of the field here and removing all of Ben's options. Now, I suppose the last final critical moment of this and the decision making is how far does he keep going now?
Because actually this might be the 4th summon, because at the beginning of the duel he had the unicorn that got stolen. So actually I think we are on 4 summons and this might be the 5th already. So let's see. Yeah, he's gonna play conservatively in a way with the Rise Heart for free, which I mentioned is pretty much the way you play the deck, similarly to Zodiac, just relying on your boss monster.
Pot of Prosperity, a interesting choice to use in main phase 2 rather than maybe main phase 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's decent because some players have been using Garura, which is why this makes sense. Because when it resolves, it's going to get banished, triggering the Rise Heart, and you can get back the Garura from the banished zone. And whenever they deal with the Rise Heart, then that's your +1. We can check whether Ben is playing that or some other interesting targets in the action. Not Ben, Shawn.
So I see what you're saying. He's trying to have that synergy with the attach effect of the Rise Heart. But I was just maybe curious. You know, you want to like see your options.
In general, I agree
right?
with you.
Yeah.
In general, I agree with you. But just if he's playing the Garura,
Yeah, he's playing.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So makes sense.
And it decides to go for
this is exactly. Yeah. Okay. No.
going for the
okay,
Goliath.
yeah.
Yeah.
One.
I mean, still similar concept.
Yeah.
It's still the 4th summon, right? Yeah.
I actually think it might be the 5th because at the beginning he went for a unicorn, and I think it was
there
so
it
it
is.
is the 5th. Yep. And this is what we are gonna go through.
And I think this was totally unexpected, as we mentioned.
Absolutely.
I think if you are a Kashtira players this week, and as we have also seen the last week, and also the UK Open champion, I mean, you just want to go and push as much as you can, and then if you get punished, you just deal with that.
And here, for example, you could see why putting one of those cards, unfortunately, even if you use the Garura here, it would be even more punished because of Prosperity, because that would not allow you to draw a card for Garura. Well,
Yeah.
Now plays back, so Reduer comes back.
So a decent amount of recursion despite this. You know, you would think like maybe the Primal Being coming down, it's a very, very sort of powerful, almost game-ending card in and of itself. But the ability to kind of still be able to set up a Fenrir here, you have Birth for next turn, so it's still a lot for Ben to contend with and try remove these resources away from Shawn here, just to make sure that he doesn't have a chance to come back on the turn 5.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is the new Traptrix monster here, Arachnokampa, going to be used to immediately link summon into Serra. And here we're going to try and trigger. Yep, there it is. This was utilized last turn here, going for this similar combo here. And that is, as you mentioned, a very similar card to Shade Brigadine, allowing you to trigger this. Oh,
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, and this
yeah.
triggers Serra. Yeah.
Yeah, so despite this, the Serra still will activate, and Mermelio activating the mandatory effect to destroy a spell and trap card in the field, and removing that Birth is extremely, extremely critical to be able to stop Shawn from coming back with any sort of play on the following turn.
We mentioned it, 2014, Mermelio in action, and now back almost after 10 years. Still again at the top tables, and yeah, but Serra is the MVP by far. It's such a good Link 1. And now we see one of, again, the new ones, the Link 2 Kularia, I believe. Yeah.
Yep. Generally, this is what you try and go for on turn 2 here. So you can actually start mounting an offensive. Traptrix, of course, a very defensive deck in the way that it sets up the field to be able to stop the opponent from summoning powerful monsters. And I think now that we've dealt with the Nibiru, that is a really, really good position for Ben. And his opponent is now just basically dealing with a top deck at this stage.
Yeah, this really is an upfield battle. There is another Nibiru, by the way, waiting in the end from Ben, so just in case. But yeah, here we see the floodgate travel.
Here, Shawn is going to have the opportunity to choose whether to go first or second. Very likely you want to go first, and we can see
and his
opening hand.
But the Nibiru is back, baby, and alongside an impermanent, so...
Was that just a pass?
Wow!
Did he pass?
Yeah,
Oh
it just passed. Brutal.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's really, really rough.
He does have Feather Duster, but yeah, completely bricked. He has a Ghost Mourner, which could be nice to slow things down, but a brick is brutal at this point.
Well, I must say that that is obviously not an ideal situation you want to be in. However, Traptrix not particularly known for its ability to end the game so fast.
Yeah.
But I think you're always just going to be scared here that we're going to have a lot of ways to set up. This is a very good Mourner on this Sarah, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Mourner, yeah, interesting option. We have seen it very popular in Kashtira instead of card like Veiler, mainly because it's a level 3 tuner, so you can normal summon it to make Baron really easily, and it's a decent card, I agree.
I wonder if you miss that era and this period of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where your hand traps were tuners that you could either use as disruption or normal summon to the field and combine for some combo plays. Those were the days.
Especially Goki. Goki was on top of my mind, I remember. Yeah. Not only because of tuners, but because they were, level 3 for some XYZ plays. So yeah.
And like Saber Invoker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The boy.
All right, a couple of options going second. Sometimes I've seen a couple of Traptrix players play Utopia double with double or nothing to be able to deal 8,000 damage when your opponent has a monster on the field with at least, or at the most, 2,000 attack. That has been a common strategy of Traptrix, but not really something that I think they've been doing post-structure deck era.
He's just attacking, it seems like, and might go for Redoer again or some XYZ play, let's see.
I think Redoer is particularly powerful when you can combine it with a trap card as a material here, but I think good old Rafflesia is extremely good. Rafflesia being able to get any trap card from the deck, Akanchi,
But what Ben doesn't know is that Shawn has the Arpes Feather Duster in hand.
So if there is a solid top deck, this could change everything. Because I saw there was a Theosis in the end.
Yeah, I think it's missing one piece. But
no,
I
think Big Bang, that's brutal. Oh my. Yeah, still gonna go for the Feather Duster.
This is gonna be a little bit odd without any follow-up. I'm hoping there's something that he can do.
Yeah.
Despite this.
Because otherwise we might have a quick one. Because now, as mentioned, you get a +1, actually a +2 potentially. So.
Yeah, so the Traptrix Sarah, because a trap card was activated, as mentioned, she's going to be able to activate and special summon a Traptrix monster from the deck. And that's Mermelio. And because of the fact that, again, mentioned the mandatory effect of Mermelio activating to destroy a spell and trap card and field triggers the secondary effect of Traptrix Sarah, which then gets you a new trap card. Now, the disadvantage, you can't use it on the turn it's set.
Yep.
So if there's any way for Shawn to play here, then he should be able to try.
He did draw it to the
Defender.
But I don't think this is enough. Here. You get the floodgate trap hole, and Shawn is pretty much stuck at this point. I mean, as you mentioned, Ben, former national champion, you can really see it. He's super comfortable with the deck, not even thinking that much. He knows what he wants to go for. And yeah, here it's a piece of cake, I think, to just end this duel.
A wealth of experience with Ben Sherman, and I suppose it also comes down with the deck building as well, being able to use those Nibirus in the main deck, deciding that that was the optimal way to build this deck, especially going into not quite a dominant Kashtira format, but obviously popular nonetheless. And now he's trying to find a path to game here to be able to close this one out. So, I mean, Floodgate Trap Hole, absolutely incredible card. You may remember this from particularly at the beginning of Master Rule 4, when you would activate this on a monster in the extra monster zone. That was that's very detrimental.
Way to shut down everything in Zodiac format.
Yep. New Floodgate Trap Hole acquired here, should he not be able to end out the game. And
this is impressive. Again, we mentioned it, oh, this is kind of a trap deck, but I don't think Ben likes this definition. You can really see it. Both games he had more monsters than traps, to be fair, and yeah.
Yeah,
There you see it, the fist bomb, and it is...